Hey everyone, welcome back. We've got our last game of the second series here between Aster.Aries and RNG. We've got a fresh new background. We've got our bans and picks set up as well. And what do you know, Dark's here, first phase ban, but it does let through the D-Stones Invoker. So what was able to topple Aster.Aries in game 1 can potentially do it here in game 3.
Radiant team pick.
Potentially, but how much of it do you think was on the back of the Dark Sea being able to set up for those big cataclysms?
Disruptor.
A very, very big reason. So we'll see if they go for, I mean, Faceless Void's still there, Tide banned out, but maybe some other big kind of AoE setup.
Yeah, potentially. I'll be honest, like we're into a game 3. Aster.Aries' very good performance in game number 2. I was kind of silently hoping for a 2-0 because my food had just got here, a nice delicious Asian meal that I requested from my local Nepal restaurant. I asked them to send nudes and they sent me a beautiful noodle soup. So I'm happy though. I ate a decent portion of it. It's going to get a little cold. And when you were talking about before, the difference between like what we're seeing in ESL Fall versus what we're seeing here, that hero that was just picked up in the Hoodwink is the big difference. It is very heavily prioritized still within the European region, whereas here it's certainly dropped off a fair amount, more likely to favor the likes of, you know, the Silencer, a little bit more of the Omni Knight, and, you know, heroes of that nature. So we'll see how they are able to do on RNG this time around, but it doesn't feel like a Red Panda hero. This feels like a Felix Chauba hero with Red Panda playing the Nyx Assassin. So expect to either see something that's super able to brawl in the lane for RNG or something that just wants to sit back and continue to farm.
Yeah, it is interesting of the difference in regions with the priority that they've been putting on the Hoodwink. I thought the Bushwhack nerf might be a bit too much. At least some people I've spoken to, at least in the Oceanic scene, has said that's too much.
It's not enormous.
Yes, well, they're still picking up in ESL, so at least they're still fans of it. And RNG trying to give it their own crack. I'm trying to take a look actually at how many games we've seen so far on the Hoodwink. It definitely has not been many.
It'd be less than 5. I mean, we have cast like I think about 31 games.
Yeah, it's been 3
so far.
3 games. So
yeah.
Only 33% win rate, so it's only 1 from 3. So it's...
I mean, it seems a bit weird, right? Like, I feel like they need to do something that's gonna get aggressive. Like, is this just a Faceless Void pick? I mean, synergizes well with the Invoker. You don't really want to play a ranged hero paired together with, when you're against the Mars, because, you know, just toss up the arena and suddenly you don't do anything. With Drow, maybe you can at least get the multi-shot off, and they don't have that many ways to get in onto the back line, but I don't feel like you can Drow when Aster.Aries still have the pick afterwards that could respond to it, and Spectre's still in the pool. So
yeah,
something a little bit more aggressive.
That's a good pick. You've got the Infest Bomb and the Sand King. Aster.Aries are very magical reliant, and they only have one real way to start the fight with an instant hex from the Lion. So if you get that hex, there's going to be follow-up Stunlock afterwards. But that's the question, if Lion is able to get that space, you know, for the blink, and then to have the impact of, and if the pressure is going to be too much for him to handle, which, well, Baku's played a very solid game 1 and game 2, but the Rage is great versus the Mars and versus the Conquer combo.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the team fight, it's about even. I would give Aster.Aries a slight edge, and we're seeing the Clinker Man coming out here. I mean, he's certainly able to flash farm a little bit quicker than the Lifestealer. Lifestealer needing to stay in lane somewhat more, whereas Ulu, he's going to be moving around the map perhaps a bit more. It's a lot of damage potential, though. Like, you get people locked inside a Kinetic Field Static Storm, you get them CC'd up by a Torrent Boat combo, Arena of Blood, multiple person Lion Stun, and Clinx's Burning Barrage can absolutely rip through these heroes. So we'll see what the positioning is going to be like. Hopefully, for RNG's sake, they're not just going to walk into this tiny little choke point. But they are not lacking in team fight themselves. You know, the Blink Stun, hell, Cataclysm could still be on the menu coming through here for D-Stones just based off of that.
Is there a lineup that you feel like is easier to execute on paper with the heroes they have?
I mean, overall, it feels like how do you miss an Arena of Blood? You know, like how do you miss a torrent if they don't have BKB or sorry, an X Mark torrent if they don't have the escape potential, and they don't have a ton of it, at least until they build into something like a Yule Scepter or a BKB. And I don't think any one of these dire heroes wants to go a Yule Scepter super early on. So I feel like probably Aster.Aries is a bit easier to execute, and they've got like one extra string to their bow in another form of team fight. I mean, what are they lacking?
Prepare for
That's what
battle.
I'm having a look at now. The laning stage, Kunkka versus the Invoker, not the greatest time. So D-Stones should look to have a good start there. You've got multiple stuns as well to set up for the Sunstrikes, which is always going to be beneficial for the laning stage for RNG. But once we get out of that at the 15 or so minute mark, A, how much farm is Ulu going to have so that he can make an impact with a Death Pact? And B, are they going to be on point? Are they going to be able to take fights where they want to in these, at the top of staircases, around Roche Pit? That's where Aster.Aries want to be fighting.
And we saw the immense amount of importance from Vision in that second game, and the Templar Assassin was heavily able to enable the capability of these team fights with the traps just
30
consistently
seconds
around.
to
And
battle.
your RNG, they tried to offset that with a pretty decently early gem pickup, and I feel like again there's going to be a lot of importance on Vision and how that can help with these fights around the choke points, like you were saying, in particular will favor for Aster.Aries. But it's also, RNG, they've got pretty good choke point fighting as well. Like, imagine a Burrow with a Cataclysm, a Nick Stun or Bushwhack. Like, it definitely feels like Radiant. It's nicer on paper with a lot more big AoE ultimates, but RNG, if they have the vision, if they have the jump, they can definitely do the same thing.
Yeah, they got the tools. It's slightly easier on Aster.Aries' side. It feels a little bit more, at least until the late-ish stage of the game. RNG's lineup is so much more focused around pickoff, whereas Aster.Aries want to take fights. And, they've got the lineup where they can look to take towers. Clink's, he wants to farm, but, very capable to just sit there, and you can already see he's just got the 1 point into the Blightstone. I feel like it's a little bit more for the harass, because these days you don't want to go straight Desolator or an Orchid. You want to be able to flash farm with the use of the Maelstrom and the Burning Barrage.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued to see how Ulu's lane's going to go, because we've seen some very greedy item builds. I think on the first couple of days we saw, like, it may have been Eurus that went like Falcon Blade into Maelstrom, just naked rush. So, Falcon Blade, if it's not on a Lennon position 5, doesn't look too bad.
I think Eurus actually played it, like, did he get Falcon Blade? I think he might have, but he got the Treads first. Like, there was one player that went Treads Maelstrom without boots and got away with it. I want to say it was Monet.
But that's the question, like, if you can punish maybe his weaknesses, because from what we've seen from the Clinks, do you think that is a stage where you're able to pressure him in the lane?
In this lane, let me have a quick look. I mean, multiple stuns, always capable, right? But he could just look to go for an extra point into the Skeleton Walk to perhaps provide that little bit of extra safety as they get a kill on top onto Red Panda. Okay, well, stuns everywhere. You're eventually going to get something.
Big
Might be able to get this pull off.
Siamese Cat. Sunstrike. Oh, these stones. Very nicely done. Again, once he had hit that second point in Exort, very similar to the last game, unfortunately. So in game 1, I should say. But in that game, he did find first blood, and this time this already picked up. Another thing to mention is that he's not against a very good matchup in the middle lane. Quite often, Conker is able to just out DPS you, out trade you, and it gets to a stage where the level 6 is a lot more beneficial for the Conker in regards to being able to find kills than Invokers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's going to have a tiny bit more survivability. I mean, the points in the Quas are always good for the extra HP regen that you're going to get, but Tidebringer just out-trades that every single time. From range as well. That's one of the big benefits of the Conker, right? Is that you're a melee hero, sure, but you are still able to deal out that harass with pretty good effectiveness.
Yeah, and you see what you can do there with quite often the creepy equilibrium. Like if you dragged the enemy's melee to your range and then you have that awkward position in the lane where both teams' range is about to fall, Phoenix can posture aggressively with the Tidebringer, kill his range, but then force Invoker to not really secure his own range. And it's very important in a laning stage because of how much experience it gives you.
Oh, he's even going, look at this Forge Spirit. He's on a little bit of a mission to get rid of Old Mate Bounty Rune.
It's a nice little thing that we've seen D-Stones do a couple times now. Even just helping take away some of the water runes is always nice.
Yeah, taking away the water rune. They've also got that sentry up in the small camp. So, yeah, Phoenix was trying to get the double use out of that wave that he pulled previously. So, it's going to bring him back to the pack a little bit, but yeah, once these levels start to build up on the Invoker, I'm going to start dealing a little bit more damage on the Phoenix.
They're going to be able to win the man fight another round. The Acorn shots up for Felix, and they do trade a 1-for-1, so Ulu picking up the kill and end up sacrificing the position 3 on RNG.
I feel like Ulu's pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I definitely think so too, as your win condition, and if you can just get that much closer to the Maelstrom, then it can mean that he can potentially leave the lane or even just shove out the lane, then go back and flash farm the jungle.
I do like the fact that he's gone into the power treads, though. It's just, you know, so versatile, of course. Being able to eventually scale into that Maelstrom, like we were talking about, but also you're against 2 stuns. You're against the Invoker coming in onto you. So even though right now it's on the Agi, just switch it over to the treads, and your survivability goes up quite significantly.
Has been killed.
Yeah, I think like you just said, the survivability is one of the big reasons why I went for it. Because they do have some burst potential in that bottom lane and some damage output, and especially for Sunstrike, which they haven't showed the prowess just yet. They will though on Baku, Red Panda. This double combo, which we saw in game 1, the Nyx and the Invoker, was a nice way for them to be able to find some kills across the map for D-Stones, and it's continuing to look like the trend will go on.
Red Panda even there. Will he go for a kill here onto Phoenix? I think without the... Oh, maybe he will with the Meteor.
Don't think Phoenix will die. In fact, they're just going to turn it now. No point in the Spire Carapace. They'll use the boat a little bit late, but they still have Baku to lock him inside the collapse point, as we've got a couple kills across the map though. Meanwhile, Ulu did fall down bot, however.
How the hell did that happen? Was the Sunstrike used? No. Soft cooldown now, so just doing it with the pure stuns available away from the Sand King and the Hoodwink there. Just saying thank you very much for all the extra gold bringing through to that mid lane for Phoenix, who again having a nice start. They were able to deward the sentry camp. I thought maybe when he made the rotation through, that's what he might have attempted there on Red Panda, but ended up just feeding away his life. And there's a fair few stacks built up as well here for Phoenix, so the rich will continue to get richer.
Meanwhile, it does look like God King's having a pretty good time. This is the nice thing about a life stealer into a melee matchup. Your early levels aren't as strong as what they somewhat used to be on life stealer with how you could trade, but once you get more points in the feast and the Ghoul Frenzy, you see you should be able to be a relatively strong self-sufficient hero.
Life and Death, he's going to be able to farm underneath his tower. He was trading previously against the Lifestealer. That even with the Bulwark, I'm not sure how wise of a decision that is, just because he's always going to be able to use his Feast to be able to regen more than you. So I feel like having the point in the Bulwark is fine, but it's just for a case of
bottom lane.
You don't want to die in lane while you farm.
Siamese Cat, Sunstrike combination once again. And not really much Ulu can do here to help out. They might get a consolation prize across the map, however, as Red Panda was doing some shenanigans to scout out the stacks, but he will be dragged back to another kill that Baku's getting involved in. And
stack taking commences, even getting the broom handle quite nice for this this stack taking.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were going to leave this for the Clinks or if Phoenix was going to take it at the early stage with that 4 points in Tidebringer, and well, it looks like that's showing right now.
I think it's important for them to try and kill Invoker as quickly as possible. He's getting so close to picking up that Hand of Midas that if you can kill him a few times, make sure you're burning away of his unreliable gold, then It's going to go a long way towards securing your team the win. I wonder if he could even drop the Meteor here on this camp. Might be waiting for that double damage rune to do so, with Red Panda sitting in the mid lane, making sure that experience isn't being wasted. Yeah, and that'll make it that the unreliable gold actually does get used.
Clinks, he's in trouble here, Flyby. Oh, they just missed the Sunstrike, but Ulu went back to the direction of the Glimpse, so Flyby was still able to get some of the last remaining pulse damage, which was enough for the kill.
RNG are very happy with this, you know, multiple kills onto the Clinks, the scaling hero. Sure, the Kunka's had a probably better than expected time, but D-Stones, he's perfectly fine with it. Midas completed less than 9 minutes into the game.
I'm not sure if you're aware of this as well, but apparently it's a caster's duty to say every time a pig pole is picked up, we have to highlight it. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but now you are. So Mars has a pig pole.
Great. Whoa. Yippee. The pig pole is available. I mean, it's nice. It's cute to be able to have it, sure. But, I don't know, like... I know, like, that is the one thing that's probably stood out to me the most when watching the ESL stream, is that a bunch of people in chat are part of the Swine Gang, apparently, which are fans of the pig pole.
What? Swine Gang? What's it is?
Swine Gang.
What? Where's the correlation between that?
Pig, swine.
Oh, yeah. God damn
There's
it.
a little pig emote as well on Twitch. Why not? Man, Ula's just been completely bullied out of this lane. He's sitting at level 7. Like, behind the Mars, which, you know, Mars has been having a fair amount of solo XP up on this top side, but still, not what you want with this this Clinks. You know, you itemize for the survivability and you still died, so not what you want.
Oh, all in all, though, D-Stones is getting his space. This is not what we saw when he was playing the Invoker versus the Broodmother, and he has to be loving life. The T1 tower has only taken 13 damage, and that's exactly what you want, so the Invoker can just shove out the lane and go back and farm the jungle. I really would like to see Aster try and smoke to kill off these stones, but I mean, bring the Lion with level 6, which he now just has picked up as Ulu? Huh, this is a very bizarre position for a Clinks to be in, and well, it's going to cost him his life.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Need more Flyby down bot as well. Tried to charge up the epicenter before the spear, but beautiful timing from Afterlife. Sorry, from Life and Death.
You're thinking different regions here, bro.
Yep. Still thinking about ESL.
Name does start with an A. Makes sense. Aries.
I like the help there. Thank you very much, Red Panda.
No worries, anytime.
He's gonna need some assistance. Maybe D-Stones can disrupt with the tornado. Still gonna drag him back, but he's pretty survivable with the wand, with the spike carapace too, but although
It's like, get out of here.
but let's just drop the finger, why not? Now, that is finger on cooldown for 150 seconds, which means killing off D-Stones now gets, I think, very, very difficult. And that was the target I really wanted them to kill, because his net worth is going to continue to ramp up, and you do not want to give a free game to D-Stones Invoker. There is a reason why people are banning in the first phase when they verse him.
I mean, he just hasn't been in that mid lane for the past, like, 4 minutes. It's kind of ridiculous. You know, they've just given him free reign to take over the Tri-Camp area. Felix Jabba, he's going to be able to get the small stack off if he wants to. No, never mind. They're going for a smoke instead. He looking to pick up the bounty rune on the way. Red Panda does. Who's the main target? Being able to kill Life and Death could be quite significant, especially as he is still a fair ways away from that Blink Dagger, so reducing a lot of ways for Aster.Aries to be able to start these team fights. And they're going to get the full wraparound as well. Initial stun into the Meteor Hammer.
Beautiful. And they have the, like you said, Meteor Hammer on Felix to now help them take objectives too, which was the one big thing that RNG are lacking early on. So this tower down bot should fall. Radiant, how close are they to taking top? Yeah, they've still got a bit of time to work on this one as well. So I don't know if they'll defend bottom.
At least they've got the Maelstrom, finally, on the Clinks though. So his capability to push out these lanes a little bit more, you know, act as that, I don't want to say rat style, but keep lanes shoved in, it is improved, right? And you just want to prevent
Radiant's bottom tower
RNG
has
from
fallen.
pushing
Dire
in
are
onto you as
scanning.
much as possible. Red Panda walking right next to Baku, giving them all the information they could possibly desire.
Red Panda's actually going to start. Even gets a two-man stun, and now Baku, well, this blink that he freshly completed is going to give him no assistance to get back to safety, but the help's going to come through from Mars, however, as they've locked in D-Stones, not enough damage to kill him off, and now with a beautiful placement of that Ice Wall, it looks like there's no escape for the Mars, as the stuns will fly out in a couple seconds, especially with Felix cutting off any retreat up to the stair line.
They can just continue pushing forward. There's 5 mid. You've got the Orbital Corrosion to assist with taking the tower. They pop the glyph though, realizing that you can't really open up this Roche potential. That's something that Aster.Aries are going to be wanting to take first. They've also got the Blightstone on themselves. You've got a Clinks who's able to dish out a lot more, not necessarily consistent damage, but I would say he's a high damage, high risk, high reward style of hero.
Which his farm is really going to start to skyrocket on Ulu, but
Dire's top tower is under
the question is how much...
Oh, another attempt.
Okay, well, this is a big
Stun
attempt,
into stun
okay?
into stun.
Yeah, Disruptor will fall. Conker's going to join him as well, so RNG not relieving any of the pressure they want to put on the map. Big blink play coming through from Flyby to set up the damage.
And every single one of these successful, I can't even call them team fights because they haven't been that. There hasn't been a full like 5-on-5 team fight that started with both teams on equal setting. Every single time it's been RNG getting a pick off first with the use of the Sunstrike, with a stun coming through from Red Panda or Felix Schauber. So they're playing well. It's the supports that are setting up the success right now. Hell, you could even put Flyby in on that. The number of times that he's been able to get a blink stun in to start the combo.
Oh no, Simon's cat. You hate to see it, you really do. Baku tried to tank up the Sunstrike too late, and well, in fact, you hate to see it for Baku as well. This is...
How did he get there? Like, is he just walking around behind the tier 2 tower?
He went from the bottom stairs behind the bottom tier 2 tower to get there, I believe.
Sure, but I thought like maybe he might have been under the cover of smoke, he might have tried to place a ward down, but no, he was just walking around, just expecting the fact that, well, it's a lot of damage that I'm able to dish out, especially in combo with that Sunstrike, which D-Stones, he's invoked it up again. I think they could be looking to go for another kill in the near future.
Uh-oh, D-Stones. Alright, he's chilling. Recognizes... Oh, he's even got Yule Scepter as well here, so now he's got his own defensive itemization to help out versus the Conquer. The Mars as well to kind of disrupt the jump. They still have ways to kill off the Invoker. You got to get on top of him though, and they haven't showed much capability to do that, but maybe 1 or 2 attempts so far.
Hell, even just a little bit of movement speed coming through from the Yule Scepter could do him a fair bit of good. He's standing next to an Arcane Rune as well, so as soon as Vendetta's available on Red Panda, he just looks to use it, tries to find someone. If he gets it, another pick-off that could potentially lead into an objective. If not, it's a pos 5 that died. Doesn't really matter.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And he's going to immediately pop the smoke as well. I mean, it's just the power. Dodging out the dust as well. I don't think he even knows. That's the craziest thing. He didn't know what he just did.
He may have seen the dust particle, because I think he pinged Clinks. Flyby's actually going to charge up the epicenter. Ulus will get ripped apart with the help of the Sunstrike, and unfortunately for the extra assistance, maybe it'll kill off Flyby, maybe it won't. Do they have the detection? That's the big question. Looks like they've got the damage overall, but they don't have the control to lock in a hero through the Static Storm, and now that is a lot committed just for the Sand King, and it might cost them as on the high ground. Red Panda just trying to set up on Baku. You don't have a T2 tower now, so RNG are like, all right, what's stopping us from just running on through? Well, Nyx is going to be cautious positioning, but still the rest of RNG, they're straight on top of the Mars. As life and death will end up dropping, and Phoenix gonna go for trouble here. Okay.
Felix Schauber, he'll be fine. But yeah, that's still a... Oh, Sunstrike.
That? Dude.
It hit Baku.
I'm telling you, man, these songs is crazy.
I mean, he's a master tier. What do you expect? He's no grandmaster, though. Let's be real.
Yeah. And so you can really judge an Invoker on his cosmetic use as well.
What does this say about him?
That's a good question. I'm not as creative. Can you give us some insight of what, like, if you're doing the read into him, the tarot read of D stones? Well, what's this invoker? What feel is it giving you right now?
I mean, that hat seems a little, you know,
Shady.
costume store bought. You know, seems a little cheap, to be honest. Puts more value into his personality than you know, the cosmetics.
That's a nice way to outround it, saying he's got a good personality. I think D-Stone's gonna be happy with that. Although you did kind of call him cheap, but also you made up for it with saying he's got a decent personality.
You know, facts are facts.
How do we know they're facts though? I don't know. You should be lying to
I'm the
everyone.
Oracle, bro.
That's very well. I don't know. You keep saying that. I don't know if we haven't seen any proven facts.
So, all right, RNG are going to go for another pickoff. Let's see if it happens.
They're gonna go for another team fight. So you're firstly incorrect, as Mars. Not brought down just yet.
Pick off the Mars.
Oh, well, now he's dead. Sand King. It's pretty tanky. Yours will give him a lot of space as well. Maybe setting up for the torrent boat combination. Flyby just shy on that Burrow Strike range, but they've... Oh, I thought they caught out Ulu, but still the bushwhack.
So did I.
It doesn't go through Invis.
Yeah. So close. Just gets away. I liked the fact with how Flyby used his Yule Scepter and that as well. Just realizing that, look, I'm stuck within the Static Storm. A lot of players would just immediately look to use the Yule Scepter, but he wanted to try and dodge as much damage as possible. And Static Storm is one of those abilities that actually ramps up in damage. So he made sure that he was getting the latter stages of the Static Storm while he was under the protection of the Yule Scepter. Nearly ended up getting away, but it just wasn't enough.
I didn't know that's how Static Storm worked.
That's why I'm the Oracle.
What? Just when?
Read it.
I'm reading it. I didn't know that's how it works.
It's always been that way.
I didn't know.
Bloody Zoomers.
Wait, wow, that's all right. There you go. Makes sense. I understand now. I would never in doubt a Flyby though, even though he's won 5 and 13. Been some pretty solid initiations to start the fights. He's even... See, this is something though that we're seeing a little bit more. This Sand King Aghanim Shard. We saw it a decent amount in that Southeast Asian tournament. I haven't heard much about it from ESL, but this Shard, what's your opinion on it?
I mean, I know when Sunspan was doing his initial Shard ratings, he didn't rate it much at all.
Was this from 7.3?
No, it was prior to that.
Yeah.
Did they increase the pulse damage? Is that...
Yeah, I think that's a big... Yeah, the last part's the added component. I don't know if there was any other changes. No, that was the only change. Yeah, only change.
I mean, it's not a huge increase in damage, though. Like, you've got 120 damage per pulse, and then it's 140 after you've picked it up. That's not a lot. I guess just all needing to focus on the burst damage potential. Again, like, I'll say it time and time again. RNG's game is based entirely on pickoffs.
Yeah, okay.
You didn't spill tea on your keyboard, did you?
No. Well, hang on. The tea was not the fault of the disconnect. Let's just hope the game, if for some reason, isn't over in the next 5 minutes.
Well, it doesn't say lobby not found.
All right,
so
no. I'm still in. Oh, Mars. Jump the hoodwink. Just a quick and easy 1-2 pick off here, but RNG, they might look to try and defend their tower. They have Glyph to at least give some time for the reinforcements to show up. Try and set this formation up around the area, but Radiant, they're okay with just a pick off and to continue to farm.
But you saw the difference there, right? Like, I think that's the one fight that I'm here to say.
Never mind. Cataclysm's out. Phoenix still with the BKB. Not enough against the pure damage, but it does stop at least the follow-up stun lock, as now they're still looking to pounce. What a speed position. No opportunity for the rage, and the follow-up control will shine from Phoenix.
Oh, even the glimpse, very nicely done.
Flyby, even better timing on the blink curve, but well, maybe that is a more valuable pick-off to enable this tier 1 to finally fall.
You just saw the difference though, right? That is the one time that Aster.Aries have been together and have actually been able to start a team fight. Every single other time it's been the other way around.
Bit of brawling going on.
Kinda dying as well.
Just waiting for the Sunstrike, these zones. Let's see if he can find it. Red Panda looking to try and provide a little bit of vision. Wait, what's happening mid? D-Stones, that's why he's not sun-striking right now, because the Clinks is on top of him. He'll just solo kill off the Disruptor. He's going to try and turn for Clinks as well. D-Stones, can he make the plays happen? Somehow he's still alive. They got the detection just out of range of the sentry. And now the Clinks will get turned back on. You can't give this man the Invoker. Time and time again, you'll see why.
I feel like it was a little bit of a blunder, though, continuing to go in on the Clinks. Maybe if he had the BKB available, as what a great use of the Spike Carapace there to be able to lock in Phoenix. He's still so tanky, though. BKB back off cooldown. He's going to leave the Lion.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
All right, well, what was looking to be a great kind of continuation of sequences there for Aster.Aries that pick off on the Hoodwink, then they jump back on the Lifestealer into the T1 tower, and ends up netting RNG a victory in the net worth regard, and they're thinking about trying to sweep into Roshan.
Getting a little bit cute by continuing to stick around in the area. You know, they didn't take away the high ground vision, so that was up for RNG the entire time, and they had to use a number of their ultimates to kill the other targets.
This is really scary with all of the AoE abilities that Aster have, but that's a really early arena. Forb's gonna come from Phoenix in the last second. Aegis, God King's able to pick it up. They're trying to target down Firefly. Now with the Cataclysm inside the Roche Pit, but no one has the connection to lock them into the pure damage, but still they continue on forward. As Siamese Cat
alive.
doesn't make it up on the higher ground yet. Flyby is looking to lead the charge to Tornado.
He's
Clipping Phoenix, but he's got this movement speed. He might be able to find Ulu. He knows he's nearby because the epicenter pulse, but he's going to jump instead, straight on top of the Mars. And now they've even found Clinks on the backline as God King is not giving any space for Ulu to freely right-click a triple for D-Stones.
Just again, you know, we talked about all of their AoE abilities, but doesn't mean jack if you don't actually use them together. You know, the Arena of Blood coming out super early. Catches two, one of them, of course, being the Lifestealer that doesn't really care all that much about it. But, you know, where was the Static Storm? Where was the boat? The boat was basically there towards the end of the arena, which meant that the full control wasn't quite there. They didn't even get the kill onto Flyby. He survived on about 50 HP after all is said and done.
I wonder if the Epi, as for the Aghanim shot, has a little bit more value versus Invis heroes. Like, I wonder if that could be a thought process as well, because it seems to be getting a pulse when anyone's nearby. It doesn't matter if they're Invis or not. I mean, he's not holding a dust or anything right now, so... But I guess it's still information on if they're making an attempt to catch his life, or for the supports to pop smoke, pop dust potentially.
Yeah. It's so hard for Aster.Aries to fight until they've got BKBs. Like, Ulu needs it. He needs that. He needs his level 18. That's going to be the big difference maker there. I don't know if the Burning Barrage Arrow's talent at level 20 is going to make a big difference, because, I mean, you're still going to be kind of stood in place for a little bit longer, which you don't really want against this lineup. Again, they have a ton of pick-off potential. You can't just be completely stationary in a team fight and expect no repercussions.
Does feel like the hero that we've seen so consistently just flash farm into a stage where you can have too much damage for the enemy team to handle at the moment. Clinks hasn't reached that stage. I mean, his Crystallis, Maelstrom, BKB, like you were asking, is finally completed. So we'll see if this will give him an opportunity just to finally, you know, stand his ground and actually really get the damage out.
He's gone fully into the Daedalus, not wanting to rebuild into the Dragonlance after that, realizing that it's kind of at an all-or-nothing stage right now.
Barrow coming though. Bye-bye. Infested
together.
Red Panda smoke pops. They don't get the information just a moment, and Baku is going to start the fight with a jump, but they'll catch out Ulu. What a timing on the BKB. He's able to reset his positioning on the Clinks. A really awkward start from either team, but it looks like Aster.Aries is going to be the one to hit first. But Ulu, with the BKB wasted, they want to target down Lion with the control. Then they can deal with Ulu second. Fly. Oh, nice sidestep. Okay. Good sequence of events there from Ulu in particular. I mean, the BKB keeps his life and was able to sidestep the Borusak from Flyby, but they're still looking to take the fight here.
Can't stay for too long. I mean, you used a lot of ultimates to make that happen.
Well, Flyby just blinked off, so he doesn't have this moment. Okay.
It was really selfless play as well from Baku. He used the 4-staff on the Clinks as they were looking to chase him down into the river. I think without that, he just ends up going down. And Mars as well. I think he's finished up his BKB2 now, although that
Bye
longer
bye.
cooldown on the
He's got the
ultimate.
sentry. He's going to see Phoenix actually goes in with the bow strike. This man looking to go in instead of disengaging. Tornado is flying. Flyby's got a buyback if he wants to rejoin the fight, but there's a heavy commitment, just dropping all the abilities on the Conquer. D-Stones with the BKB wants blood and he wants it now. He'll force back Baku, but Ulu once again is the target with the BKB up and available, but he recognizes there's no hope even if it gets the magic immunity off.
Radiant's top tower.
He's kind of caught in the trees as well. He used his TP to rejoin that fight previously, and well, he's going to see his creep starting to go down, and D-Stones is going to see him. Blink? Oh. Yeah, cold snap.
All right. Well, that should be a T2 tower now with the cherry on top. And there's a DD also in the mouth of the roast pit, but doesn't look like anyone's going to get anything out of that with Roast still down for potentially another 3 minutes.
Big items coming through. I think, was it just a recent Yule Scepter finish there by the Nyx Assassin? He's sitting on quite low gold count, as Felix Chauba, he's only one component away from his Aghanim Scepter. So again, pick off, pick off, pick off. That's how RNG are looking to play every single time. Aster.Aries have gotten better about how they're positioning themselves, but worried that it might have just been a little bit too late. Probably 2 team fights too late, that now RNG have the items, the net worth lead to make it not really matter.
Red Panda will get dragged back thanks to the vision advantage, and it looks like Dire would just have to leave the Nyx there. They're like, all right, you know what? We give up the Nyx. We're okay with that as long as everyone else makes it away and no one gets into this save your teammate syndrome.
You imagine if he got speared over the trees because of the impale?
That's where the communication has to be ever so perfect. We've seen some team fights go a little bit wayward because of that.
Building into a lot of the burst as well on Ares. Basically making the Arena of Blood like the old one now that he's picked up the Arcane Rune on Mars. Cloak of Flames, give it over to him as well. So a lot more survivability for life and death means that he can be sitting a bit more on the front lines. Of course, the Cataclysm combo is still going to be a lot to deal with, all that pure damage.
What's the probability actually looking like? 89%. Okay, so still very, very favored for RNG. A big experience and gold lead, of course, as well. So we've still been harping on the fact that Aster.Aries have some very formidable team fight. What's going on?
Well, Life and Death has a gem, and he just
and also Clinks might be dead top. Bye-bye, there's the dust. He's gone up to the northern side. Gonna try and pop the BKB into the TP. These stones. Alacrity doesn't matter. He's got the damage to go through nonetheless. And so you were speaking about a gem?
Yeah, I mean, Mars had a gem, and he walked right over this observer ward to the left side in the lane. Maybe just wanting to, like, be bait? Like, I don't know. I feel like you take away vision every chance you get. I think it was being pinged out as well by the Clinks, which is why he might have got caught out. Yeah, they're pinging it now. He's like, is it there? Is it there? No, we got to defend the mid tower.
Radiant's middle tower is under
scary
attack.
toss now. And I was saying earlier that RNG are going to really suffer with ways to take objectives through the early stage of this game, hence that Meteor Hammer being built up from the Hoodwink. But now that God King is continuing to find farm, you can just give him Alacrity, he can walk up the higher ground, rage, and then instantly reset. He does have to be cautious though because of the follow-up in that instant Hex or the X as well, so really has to keep his eyes on the rage timer. But once he hits that level 25, if he wants to opt for the 1.5 second increase, then that'll even make it easier.
And then, of course, he's got the Desolator as well, right? Even building into the AC. So sieging going to become easier and easier, backed up with the Alacrity, of course, onto him. Shiva's Guard now completed for D-Stones, so a lot more defensive capabilities for himself that is only going to be amplified further once that AC +5 armor is available with the Aura.
Smoke on smoke, flyby. They're all grouped up. This could be a massive burrow, but the instant
Just blinked
BKBs,
into all of them.
they're even going to use the Cataclysm, which really doesn't do a whole lot. As Radiant, if they can just get away with losing the Lion, they have to be pretty happy with that, especially with Ulu sieging on the higher ground with the Burning Barrage, but they're going to drag them back. Instant Hex follow-up as well with the Sand King, but whoa! Look at the damage. Lion just gets ripped apart. That's a dieback for him, and now they can target through Phoenix as well. At least the BKB will give him some space to make it on the higher ground.
Yoika with the gem as well.
Charging up the Epi on Flyby.
Available on Chowba.
They'll jump back on Siamese Cat. Another support's gonna fall that doesn't have a buyback on Aster.Aries.
Flyby is just so elusive. He's got like the suicidal tendencies that Yang does in game, where he's just constantly diving in super deep. He blinked into 5 people there.
Dude, it feels like all the China threes have that. Like legitimately, it feels like Yang, Old 11, XXS, Flyby. Like it legitimately feels like, I don't know how they breed them in China, but these position threes are just crazy with how aggressive they are in fights.
I feel like Chalice was very much the same way as well.
Yeah.
I want to see more Eho. We haven't seen them in a little while.
Yeah, a bit of would have been rough dropping the qualifiers, especially in the fashion they did. Probably coming into it would have been the favorites over Elephant, considering their better performance through DPC. There's always arguably questions of why Aster.Aries was dropped. That's a very good question to bring up, but I don't think I'm the person to have the answers, and I don't want the backlash of saying it. So
weak.
Duh.
All right, well, they're pushing on forward. They've got still the Skadi on God King. He's got the Alacrity. He can just pop the Rage. He's even built up into the BKB. Why not? And yeah, they're just going to continue to do this. Will he use the BKB? No, he won't. He's got the Aegis.
He's going to give him some space. There's the chain control, and oh, that's exactly what I was speaking about. Whenever the Rage is on cooldown, you've got to be so careful. And now it'll get a little bit easier. He's got to get real distance away. Oh, the Forge Spirit. Oh my god, that almost... Ooh. Now it's put D-Stones in a vulnerable spot, and he's not going to mess around.
Yeah, I'm afraid that Yule Scepter doesn't protect any more D-Stones against the Glimpse, so it's inconsequential that he was brought back that time, but a little bit of valuable information.
So, bit unfortunate there, because that is the Aegis getting wasted. What else did they get out of the Aegis? Was it a shard, sorry?
I
think it was. Yeah,
Lifestealer.
Yeah, I believe he got the shard.
Good against... Hell, it's even good against Clinks, right? With the Death Pact.
Very true. I forget that it does that % damage. Radiant, they're coming outside the base. Lifesteal did show bot, but Flyby again being the one to go in for RNG, which sets up for a beautiful Cataclysm. Right for the backline, Ulu, Phoenix. They've killed off the support in the Hoodwink. They're looking to rejoin the fight, but everyone's super split up from Radiant. Is it going to cost him over? Ulu, he's okay. Man, what a really awkward position. Bye-bye. They have the dejection. Blink forward. BKB's on cooldown. Force at least giving him some distance, but without any of the magic community protection. The rest of Radiant also stuck around as well. It's life and death. He gets a decent arena, but it puts Conqueror in a compromised position where they can just gap close. They'll kill off the Mars. They'll also join him in the... whoa, all right, they've just had enough. They don't have buybacks. Thought there might be one more fight left out of it.
Clinks is your damage, and if he's on the sidelines, then good luck with trying to make anything happen. They were trying to kind of make Mars a pseudo damage dealer with building into the Desolator next, but just the amazing, freakish, ballsy plays coming out from Flyby, enabling a great game. And again, the D-Stones Invoker. He was part of 30 kills, 0 deaths throughout all of that. Goes to show why you do need to consider at least how are you going to respond to it in the first stage of the draft, because they're comfortable picking it up.
And it's not like they didn't have an answer to it, though. Like, the Conquer is arguably one of the better matchups versus the Invoker, but I was calling for them to make these aggressive plays, like smoke up with Conquer and Lion and burst him down with a Finger of Death. But as soon as they use it on a support and then put it on cooldown for 3 minutes, then D-Stones is laughing. It's like, okay, this is 3 minutes more of space where I can just free farm. And I mean, he went flawless this game. And RNG, yes, they gave up that second game. You know, it was a beautiful performance overall from Aster.Aries there, but they just couldn't replicate that as RNG get a very similar draft to what they had in game one. It looks like when they have this comfort, they look very, very unstoppable and difficult to be able to bring down.
Yeah, for sure. Felix Chava, some fantastic positioning as well. I thought he accomplished his goal perfectly. They just kept getting pick off after pick off. Look at all those Yule Scepters as well to be able to dodge out a lot of the Disruptor's effectiveness. If you've got all of these team fight abilities, you just need to dodge them for a couple of seconds and then suddenly you can't chain them all together. So good itemization coming out from the RNG heroes. Good strategy as well, constantly going for pickoffs and just a little bit slow to adjust with Aster.Aries. And so unfortunately, that is a series loss for them. They finish the I-League on 1 series win and 5 losses, guaranteeing them, unfortunately, last place. Team Magma and IG breathing a sigh of relief. And that moves RNG up to 4-2, which means that at the moment they're sitting in that second spot. But we've got 1 series left between Vici Gaming and Elephant, who are both on 3 series wins, 2 series losses. Now, again, we don't know how the tiebreakers work, but assuming that it's head to head, I believe RNG will be cheering for Elephant because RNG beat Elephant 2-0, but RNG lost to Vici Gaming 0-2. So if it's based on head to head with teams that have the same series score, then RNG are going to want Elephant to win because a win still is not going to be enough to push them through. So I would say at the moment it's between Vici and RNG as to who is that second spot in the second round of the upper bracket.
Well, how exciting this is, though, with the fact that we have our last game of the group stages with 2 TI representatives battling it out to see who's going to be the one starting in the upper bracket round 2. So who's going to finish top 2 and who's going to finish in the bottom 6 here. But only time will tell. Luckily enough for us, we don't have to wait too long, considering this one went the full distance in a best of 3. So up next, we've got the boys over on Elephant taking on Vici Gaming. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss it.